Well, it can't get any worse.
PHSI.
So let's just try it and see what happens.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of Shoot from the Hip, the show where everything's stupid with only the smartest answers. Today we're going to have our way with words. It'll be great. Then we'll get an update on some breaking news, and then we'll just ask some really weird questions. Excited yet? I know we are. So follow closely as we shoot from the hip.
All right, guys. So we all know that this past week we celebrated Steve Irwin's 57th birthday, correct? Do y'all remember that? Were y'all around and celebrated that?
Were we around?
Yeah, this past week.
I was definitely around.
Yeah. So,
this past week.
But did you notice it? I guess is what I'm asking. Did you hear about that?
Yes,
It was on the Google thing.
Yeah, it was the Google thing.
It's one of the more tragic moments of my childhood.
Right. So, okay, this is what happened with me this week. The night before Steve Irwin's birthday, I went to sleep unknowing that the next day was Steve Irwin's birthday. That night, I had dreams that I was wrestling crocodiles.
No.
I am not even lying to you. I had dreams that I was wrestling crocodiles in my parents' living room.
What?
Yeah, it was really weird. And I could go into all the details, but it just sounded like an LSD trip, which is how my dreams really
Were you listening
seem.
to our previous podcast?
I think
the time?
I think I might have fallen asleep listening to it.
Because
Maybe
we did
or
talk
something.
about, fighting dinosaurs.
Yeah, well, I was living one of my dreams, honestly. in my
there you go,
dream.
there you go,
So,
yeah.
Anyway, so I was fighting crocodiles in this dream, woke up at 3 a.m. just like oozing with adrenaline because, it woke me up. I couldn't go back to sleep. And
You were woke.
I was woke. I was so woke. and honestly, the next day I logged into my computer, went to Google, and I saw Steve Irwin's birthday, and my mind was blown. It was so awesome.
So your subconscious was celebrating Steve Irwin without you even knowing.
I don't know if it was that or if Steve Irwin was like
Calling you from
talking to me in the dreams.
from the afterlife.
Like, I don't know what he was saying, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty impressive.
That is legitimately the best show from my childhood.
That was a great show.
I think it's the best show from my childhood.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch, you can still watch some reruns on YouTube and stuff of that show. Yeah. It's amazing. And you're just like, how was this not the greatest show of my childhood?
Yeah.
It was such a tremendous show. I show it to my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old, and they don't quite have the fond appreciation for it that they should. But
Yeah.
Well,
they're starting to get into it.
They'll get it. I think Steve
They're
Irwin's
foreign,
like
too.
timeless. He like 20 years from now, everyone still be like, that was the best show ever.
Oh, yeah.
He's like the Michael Jackson of Animal Planet.
yeah, yes.
Never goes out of style.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, introducing segment number 1 today it's actually a new segment. It's called Hate and Great. And this segment is brought to you by a very new sponsor that we have. So listen up, hipsters. We do have a special treat for you local listeners to the show. We have a new show sponsor to present to you. As we rapidly approach the warmer weather, the need to treat yourself to something cool and refreshing will become insatiable. What better way to satisfy your desire for sweets than with a Hawaiian Shaved Ice? Paradise Hawaiian Shaved Ice in Suwanee, Georgia has partnered with us to give our listeners a 15% off code to use when they visit. Use the code SHOOTFROMTHEHIP for 15% off of your total. Try it today at 2855 Lawrenceville Suwanee Road in Suwanee, Georgia. Again, it's Paradise Hawaiian Shaved Ice in Suwanee, Georgia. Use the code SHOOTFROMTHEHIP for 15% off of your total today. And they are bringing us segment number 1, which is Hate and Great. Words is the topic. There are some words that we love, some we hate. And I don't know about you fellas, but there are a couple of words that I love for reasons that are just stupid. Like, I just like to say the word. But there are words that I hate because of what it brings to mind when I say it.
Yeah.
But I also hate words because of spelling. And so,
Okay.
How about we start with, since it's hate and great, why don't we start with the hate? And
Yeah.
just get that out of the way.
Okay.
And I'll present one. And
How
then
many? Just one?
We'll go with one, and we'll just
Okay.
chime in extra if we need. So I wrote down like the number one word I could think of that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I care about the spelling on this. I just hate the emotions and the sound and everything that this word invokes. And my number one hate word is tapioca.
Tapioca?
Tapioca.
Tapioca is disgusting. It's
You've
like
never had my dad's tapioca pudding then?
No, I haven't. But
Because-
it's disgusting because it's tapioca. Sorry, Dad. Because it's like pudding with moldy sand mixed in, and it's just tapioca is so gross. And to
You've had
say the
bad
word,
tapioca.
it's just
like,
a
what in the world are you talking
what is
about?
good tapioca?
It's delicious.
It's
those
gross.
little beads. I mean, like that's
It's pudding with beads in it.
that's
yeah,
what
who wants
bubble
to eat
tea
that?
comes from.
Bleh.
Sold at Hawaiian
All you have to do is
Paradise.
say tapioca, and it's just like rolls off the tongue.
It
and
has
just,
in
it's
it.
just like yeah. At
I don't
the end
know.
of it,
I never had it.
It
so I don't
ends
know.
in ugh.
But bubble tea, I could like take or leave. But no, tapioca pudding. My dad makes tapioca pudding. It's delicious. I'm gonna
What
make you
makes
some tapioca? pudding.
I don't want it. But what
Yes,
makes
you do.
tapioca? What makes tapioca different than pudding? What is the little hard stuff in it that's not just like
Well, it shouldn't be hard. That's the thing. Like,
boogers?
see, I don't know what you're talking about. Hard.
It's just like boogers in my pudding. I don't
they're
want it.
just like little beads, so like whatever. But it shouldn't be hard. It should be very pliable and whatever. So I don't know what kind of texture you've.
Are you
had
with
in
me on this,
tapioca.
Lancer?
You know, I
You've
can't
never had
say-
tapioca?
I've never had it. I don't
You've
know.
never had-
I've never had tapioca.
By the way, I gave him an apricot the other day.
How'd you like it?
it was eh.
It reminded me of tapioca.
But he knows what an apricot is.
I know what an apricot is.
I'm
now,
gonna
yeah.
teach you what tapioca is now.
tap dancioca.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Tapioca's disgusting. That's my number one hate word. I don't even like to say the word. It's just like when I say it, I feel like I need to like
I'm really
I need to like
disappointed
get
in
the
you.
shivers or like wash my hands. So who else is next?
I got one. I got one similar. It just brings bad memories to me, and it makes me upset. Okay, and I think it's probably from my childhood. It's the word irregardless. I hate hearing the word irregardless told to me.
Because it's not a word. Well, technically.
I mean, you know what it means,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like it says I don't have a choice, and that drives me nuts. The fact that someone says you need to do this irregardless. It's like, don't tell me irregardless.
You know that it's not actually a word, though.
Well, it shouldn't be. It's terrible.
Well, and like
I agree.
I've seen it used on technical documents.
People use it all the time.
I actually deleted it out of a spec. Like when you talk about specs for construction jobs, like that's like your Bible and that's your legal standing.
Right.
I saw the word irregardless in one, and I was like, "That's gone." Deleted that. I was like, "Holy cow! What?"
You're Lancer's hero for deleting
yeah,
the
thank
word
you.
irregardless.
Thank you for
You're
killing that
welcome.
word for me. What's the replacement word? Because I want to hate that one too.
Well, regardless is a word.
Regardless is a word. Irregardless is not a word, but people use it like
Okay.
interchangeably all the time,
Yes.
and it's like that's not a thing.
No.
But
Yeah.
they do say it to you like
Okay.
you have no choice but to do this. So irregardless, and it's like next time you do that, you should just be able to say you don't know what you're talking about. That's not even a word.
Yeah,
And then people will be like, "What?"
yeah. Make them feel stupid for using a word I hate. There you go.
absolutely.
So I went a little bit of a different path on picking out words that I hate because there are just some words that are just kind of awkward.
Yes.
And well, one of them is titillating. I've never liked that word. It just has this creep factor. To
yes,
it.
it does.
That it's just anyone who says, "Oh, that was titillating." It's like, okay, you
Ooh,
need
yeah.
to go wash
Yeah, you
off
leave
a
right
second.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Get out.
There's
Yeah,
just something wrong.
My skin is crawling from you saying that right
Yeah,
now.
it's-
That's one of
especially-
those you just scoot over a chair.
Especially if it's like an older man saying titillating, it's just like, no,
Nah, that's
stop
not.
that.
No,
Get out
sorry,
Here, just
sorry,
use
sir.
a different word, please.
All right, so I got another one, and this is actually a very common word that I hate because I hate spelling this word, and people are going to make fun of me for that. That's okay. Spelling wasn't always my strong suit. I'm not a terrible speller. I hate the word criticism
Really?
because criticism, like every time I write it, it doesn't look right. Even if it's right, it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Because criticism, criticizing, it's like they're all a little bit different. And so every time I write it, I'm like, is that right? I don't know. And it's just one of those words that confuses me every time
Yeah.
I write it. And frankly, who likes criticism? So yeah, I'm out on the word criticism.
So I got another word that I hate, and it's a personal story of mine. Okay, and the word is remember. And the reason I hate the word remember, like I said, I don't expect everyone to hate this word.
Yeah, I'm
But-
not on board with that,
But
but okay.
during my second grade spelling bee, that was the word that got me kicked out.
You got goofed up on it.
I got goofed up on remember, and I didn't put like there's the like the second M or something in there, or whatever it was. I forget what I messed up on. but I look so stupid in front of everyone because I was the kid who couldn't spell remember.
I stunk at spelling bees, so I never
Yeah.
have.
So you
I don't
said
have good memories of
remember.
spelling bees.
I said like remember.
You spelled remember.
remember.
Probably.
Yeah. And so I hate that word because
So
of that.
my
Or
my
remember.
did you have do you have a spelling bee story where you had to do an oral spelling bee and you got booted?
Oh, I mean that was every spelling bee. For me.
Okay, so I only remember doing one, and it was like first grade, and I'm doing this oral spelling bee, and literally the word was garden, and I got up there super confident, and I'm like GADEN. And they're like,
Oh.
nope, and I was like, what? And I was out, and I didn't realize I was just spelling it with a Boston accent. Garden,
Got it.
So they didn't get that, but yeah, that's my one infamous story from the spelling bee.
All right, so continuing on words we hate. So this is another one of those ones where I just don't like how it sounds, and I feel like we could just come to a consensus to just pronounce it differently.
Sure,
Pianist.
pianist is a terrible word.
I hate that word.
It's
I absolutely hate it because I mean,
and it's
like,
weird because other people everybody you talk to pronounces it a little bit differently.
Yes.
There's no standard pronunciation.
Well, and I mean, we don't say guitarist, we say guitarist.
Yeah.
So why can't we go pianist?
right.
I don't understand why we
I don't
can't just
either.
make that.
I always say
consensus and
pianist.
Pianist.
Why can't we say the person playing the piano?
Because it just sounds wrong.
Right.
It does.
Anyone who says it that way is wrong.
Well, and that's the thing. The general consensus is that pianist is the correct way to say it, and that's just disappointing.
who are these people that made these rules? Because I would like to talk with them about some of their decisions they've made.
I don't
Probably
know,
the
but we
same
could
dude in
find
his
them.
grandma's basement who's writing all the Wikipedia pages.
Probably.
So,
Probably.
what about this one? This is my last word that I hate, and this is another one because it seems like it should be really easy, but it's really not. And that's the word Fahrenheit. The word Fahrenheit is
Really
like
hard to spell.
really hard to spell, but they're actually two really easy words put together, but it doesn't sound, or it sounds just like fair and height.
Yeah.
But when you put it together, it's nothing like that. It's FAHRENHEIT. That's way too complicated
Yeah.
for Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And I just hate that word. If you asked me to spell Fahrenheit without being able to look at it,
Well, thank
I would just be
goodness-
like, I'm done.
Thank goodness for the abbreviation of that degree symbol.
Yeah, seriously, goodness. But I hate the word Fahrenheit.
Why can't
for
we just
that
go with
reason.
Celsius?
It's just
That one's easier.
overcomplicated, yeah. So
right.
I hate that one.
So what about the words that we think are great? What do you
Yeah, I'm
guys
down
have
with that. So here's a word that I love to say just because of the way it rolls off the tongue. This is so stupid, but I love the word cantaloupe. The word cantaloupe is just such a great word.
is a good
And whenever you say it, it just makes me kind of laugh. And, I always think of somebody with like a French accent saying cantaloupe, and it just makes me laugh. And I love the word cantaloupe. There's really no rhyme or
Okay,
reason to
so
it.
I usually say cantaloupe, and you say cantaloupe,
Cantaloupe.
and I say can.
There is
do
a
I
T in
say it
there.
wrong?
It's cantaloupe.
It's cantaloupe.
There is a T.
Is it silent though?
I mean, like I'll say it as a slang kind of cantaloupe.
Yeah.
But there's still a cantaloupe. There's this little what do they call it? A glottal stop or whatever in there.
Whatever that means.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm teaching you another
Other
word.
words that I hate are glottal stop.
That's 2 words, but I'll take it.
I did say other words, so
All right, so a word that I think is great, and this goes to my love for the North Canada. I love just certain things about
do
Canada. Just some things, not everything, but the word kerfuffle. I love saying the word kerfuffle in any way, especially if you just throw it at somebody in some situation. And you're like, "Oh man, that's quite a kerfuffle you're in there."
you have to say A when you say it.
Yeah, you can, eh? Yeah,
Hey, eh?
What's that all about?
There's a moose in the house.
Okay, so as far as one that I like, and this one could almost go into that category if it sounds like something else, but I think it's such a good word for describing what it is. It's asinine.
Yes.
And I love that word for just describing someone who's doing something either really dumb or foolish.
Yeah.
Because it's just got this like venom to it. Like that was such an asinine thing to say.
Yes.
I just love that word.
It takes the degree of anger that you have towards a situation and ratchets it up a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
notches.
And it does it without being vulgar.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and see, that's the gift about like knowing a lot of different words is being able to actually like spit out something that's venomous but is still very clean.
Yes.
But if the person that you're spitting this out towards doesn't know what that word means,
That's even better.
does it have any consequence to
That's
them?
even better.
Oh, because
because
then they're in
you-
suspense?
You don't want them to know. You just want them to be
But
befuddled.
what if they
Yeah.
don't care because they don't know? They're like, whatever that means.
Well, it depends on the situation, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's-
sometimes you don't care what they think.
that's true. That's true. I do like that word.
Get
What-
another word you like?
I do. I like the word wingnut, and technically it's two words,
Is
but
it a compound word?
I think
Hyphenated.
it's
If it's
probably hyphenated. So
Okay.
I'm gonna call it hyphenated. But I love doing electrical work, and I love using the word wingnut. There's really no reason for it. It's just
Can
it's
you
just
use
fun
that
to
as
say.
an insult?
You wingnut.
Yeah, I like that.
What are you doing over there? You wingnut? Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works pretty well.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it.
I think
like
you could
that.
stop being a wingnut over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it works, but I like the word
That
wingnut.
sounds like something you could use on your teams.
Oh, definitely.
Stop being a wingnut.
They'd be like, "What's that?"
I got another word over here that I really like, and I always look for a reason to use it, and it's the word rendezvous.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a fun one. Well, but I never use it like I should, and I think about it later. I'm
a
like,
good French
I
one.
should have used it. Yeah.
You ever
Yeah.
try to pronounce it like phonetically, and you're like rendezvous?
Rendezvous. Yeah. No, it's a great word. It's a lot of fun to like, and if you say it, people look at you funny. Like what? But
Do you roll your R when you say that?
rendezvous.
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 This would be fun.
Okay, so my final word that I think is great because it's a great combination of two words that you absolutely understand the meaning of. So it's a compound word, but you hear it and you automatically know what it is. And that's manslaughter.
Yes. Yes, that's a great one.
There's no question of what it is. It's just manslaughter.
If you're going
you know
to
what it
prison,
is.
if you're going to prison, that's what you want to go
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Because people are like, "Oh, what are you in for?" Manslaughter.
It's such a magical word compared to like homicide.
Oh, yeah.
Manslaughter just
Yeah.
sounds
Leaves no doubt.
fabulous.
Oh, that's
Right.
great. That's a great word. All right, guys, we have a new
man.
session.
He's
of
at it again.
Our guy, Florida Man, he lives in a secret lair in the swamps of Florida. His mullet is greater than any other human beings on the earth, and his favorite drink to drink at midnight is Mountain Dew.
Ooh.
We have our news stories on Florida Man. Now let me come over here to my computer so I can tell you guys the news stories. First story on Florida Man. Florida man accused of robbing a Chinese restaurant at Finger Point. According to WT Florida, Florida man is facing armed robbery charges, and he didn't have a gun, but he did shape his hand like one, according to the arrest report. A worker at the restaurant told police Florida man then held up his right hand in a position that to her resembled a gun. The victim told the responding officers she was afraid to pick up the phone because the suspect left, and she thought he would come back to shoot her. Police located Florida man just 3 blocks away from the restaurant. When an officer approached him, Florida man spontaneously confessed to the robbery almost immediately upon contact. An officer said they also recovered $577 in his possession.
I have
Man.
a couple thoughts here. One is Florida man was being gracious here and not using a weapon, but at the same time, there's this other part of me that thinks the finger is probably more dangerous than the gun.
Right.
It's Florida man.
Florida man's finger is powerful.
You never know. And I mean, really, the other thing, too, that we like about Florida Man is immediately when presented with a confrontation, he owned it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was no shame in it. He came forward as a good citizen and just said, yeah, I was just, just making sure their security was on point. It obviously wasn't. It was just a routine test.
Right.
we always have to remember that while Florida man is a superhero, he's still a man.
Yes.
Yes.
So he's still
a
fallible.
man.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
Florida man chews up seat of police car after cocaine arrest, officials say. Fox News, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office said in a news release that Florida man was originally arrested and charged with cocaine trafficking and resisting arrest after he was found with more than 40 grams of cocaine. When he was placed in the back of the patrol car, Florida man began kicking the passenger side of the vehicle. According to police, an officer then noticed a large piece of the back seat of the patrol car had been chewed off and or eaten,
Dang it.
causing at least $1,000 in damage.
Wow. $1,000 meal in the backseat of a cop
Right.
car.
It's impressive.
Expensive
Only
meal.
Florida man could pull that off.
Was he
Right.
delivering to the good boys and girls again?
Yes, he was. He was helping them with their cocaine needs that they had.
Yes.
So
He was helping make it snow.
And honestly, Florida man was so concerned with the needs of others that he didn't even care for his own needs, which was his appetite. And so he's now being arrested under false pretenses. And he's had nothing to eat all day. The only logical thing to do is take a bite of the couch cushion.
yeah,
there.
So-
when you're hungry, you're hungry.
So the moral of the story is, when Florida man is hungry, feed the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, it's going to cost you $1,000 car seat.
Ravenous. Yeah. Florida man, next story. Florida man thought he stole opioids, took laxatives instead. ABC4 News investigators said Florida man was caught on camera opening the victim's lockbox, taking a pill bottle, and dumping several pills into his hand before walking away. Authorities said the pill bottle had a label on it which read hydrocodone. The bottle actually contained Equate laxatives.
He was saving that man from taking something that he
Yes.
shouldn't have been taking.
Florida man is sacrificial. That's what we've come to
Absolutely.
appreciate about him. He's willing to take one for the team and take a laxative for somebody.
Yeah.
Definitely took
yeah,
one
he
there.
took
Oh
one for the
man,
team
yeah,
on that
he
one.
was.
took
Florida
a
man
few.
was doing a lot of running.
All right, next news story. Florida man arrested in a $1 million comic book heist. WPTV police said a man later identified as Florida man went to a comic book store to negotiate the sale of 4 comic books with the store manager. The comic books are said to be worth about $97,000. Officers said Florida man left the store but returned 2 days later to haggle with the store owner. When he left the store after his second trip, he was followed by police to a home where he was arrested. Police found the 4 comic books, which were among 446 reported stolen from a storage unit, and the stolen comics are valued at more than $1 million.
Man, what an eclectic collection Florida man has.
Right, he's got
For
good
real.
taste.
I tell you, he does.
The question is, was he stealing from that shop owner, or was he collecting stolen goods so that he could return them?
I think he was.
I think
I think this is a Spider-Man situation where the media just has this all backwards.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I almost think this is a Nicolas Cage situation where, in order to preserve the comic books,
Yes.
Florida man had some inside information somebody else was going to steal.
They were rotting away.
And so he stole them just as Nicolas Cage stole the Declaration of Independence to prevent a national disaster.
Do you think he had him in the back, like open with some lemon wedges?
Trying to find a Playfair cipher or something
yeah.
on the back of it? I don't know
He's
about
got some
that.
bifocals on.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that, but that's what seems obvious
Yeah,
to me from this.
He's just preserving history in that one. That's all that's going on there. You guys
No
are
doubt.
totally right.
Only the best.
Next story. Florida man in SWAT standoff for a slice of pizza. Police say officers responded to a report of a possible battery in the Pensacola home of I'm sorry, I'm reading this all wrong. But officers say Florida man claimed to have a gun, so they brought a SWAT team. Crisis negotiators eventually managed to coax Florida man out of the promise of a pizza. It wasn't clear if he actually received a slice, though.
So they got him out by offering a pizza. That's
He's-
amazing.
He's ravenous.
I'm telling you, this
He
man
was
is
eating-
hungry.
He was eating, he was eating a police seat just
But
a minute
it
ago.
doesn't even say he got the slice of pizza, though. Okay,
That's
So
why he ate the police seat.
That's why he ate the police seat.
So
There you go.
yeah, that's rude by the police officers. I mean, if you're gonna offer somebody something you don't come through,
Yeah.
you should expect for the backseat of your cop car to be chewed up.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's only
right.
logical.
Treat people like people. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
I got 2 more. 2 more really quick ones. Florida man fights off coyote with a coffee cup.
oh man.
So
There we go. That's the Florida man we know.
yeah, here we go. He says, I was going to shoot it out the window because I didn't want to get into a fight with it again. When I did, it jumped up the window of the truck. I rolled the window down, and it went 3 or 4 times at me. And finally, I ran it over. No regret, none. I do it again in a heartbeat, Florida man said.
Oh, that is the greatest story in the history of Florida man. The fact that he said, I didn't want to fight it again. He's already had a run-in with this coyote once.
This is the evil mastermind coyote.
So whenever you read that whole story, you see that he
Coyote
actually
Ugly.
fought it off. He hit it a couple times with his coffee cup, then he got in his truck and just ran it over.
Was there oh man, was there coffee in the coffee cup? I mean, I would have gone for the burn factor.
He's already better than Batman.
Yeah, because he actually
killed
took him
him.
out. Yeah. That is amazing. Florida
Oh,
man man doing another public service.
This one is my favorite one, and I saved
That
it
last
for
one was
last.
hard to top.
Yeah, this one just shows Florida man's genius, okay? Florida man ripped off Home Depot, sometimes without taking items from the store. Police investigators said that Florida man hit the Lakeland Home Depot on Florida Avenue South several times before February 5th and February 13th. He'd go in without anything, taking stuff off the shelf, then head to the return desk. Either staff would accept the return and give Florida man a store credit or a gift card, or would accept the return. In that case, they would not accept the return. In that case, Florida man would just walk out with the item. So there you go.
That is
Brilliant.
genius. You got to pay for all the stuff in the bat cave and the lair somehow. So
Yeah.
might as well make Home Depot
And
pay
it can't
for
be traceable.
No, yeah.
No.
And, I mean, Home Depot's got more than enough stuff. They can afford to give Florida Man a few supplies here and there. So well done, Florida Man. I commend you on that.
And Home Depot, if you want to sponsor the podcast, we will.
We'll retract that statement,
Yes.
and we will, commend you for your security. But man, Florida Man at it again. Gotta love that guy. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, so we're going to do some more dastardly dilemmas.
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
So thank you, Trump. Okay, so,
Gotta love that. The Prez dropping a bit for us.
so we've got, once again, which we've done this, I guess, a couple weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And we went around and did some really open-ended questions, and that's what we're doing today. So this is different from Would You Rather, because these aren't Would You Rathers. These are,
that is why they are different, because
Yes.
they're not. Would you rather?
right, these are way more open-ended and have a lot more just pizzazz. So I'll go ahead and kick it off.
Kick it off.
And I think I've got a couple okay ones.
All right.
We'll see how it runs.
You sound like those Pepsi commercials.
Really
We're okay.
Really
It's
optimistic.
okay. Is Pepsi okay?
Really optimistic.
Or,
Right?
yeah. What's the other one? The is it the insurance one where they're like, don't settle for okay or whatever. When they're like,
Yeah.
oh, is this doctor good? And like, hey, he's okay.
Yeah,
That's Matt's questions today. Way to set the bar high.
Yep, no problem. All right, so I like this one. If you had to choose a fast food restaurant to eat at for the rest of your life, you had no choice but to eat at that restaurant for the rest of your life. Fast food, what would it be? This includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh,
Okay.
does this place have to be open for breakfast?
No, you just have. It's almost like
You just have
it's
to.
suddenly
eat there.
mealtime and you have to eat that food.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a place that's normally open during breakfast hours.
Correct.
Okay. And it has to be fast food.
Yes, has to be fast food. So if you want me to kick it off.
Kick it off.
Yeah,
All
go
right,
for
so
it.
and this is just a matter of I was typing this as I'm in Chick-fil-A. So I'm
Ooh.
going with Chick-fil-A. Just
Hey.
Chick-fil-A's always been good to me, and I've
It was good to me in that draft.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
having worked at Chick-fil-A for 8 years and still I don't hate the food and I love to eat there. I'm going to go with Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A's pretty epic. That's a good
Yeah.
choice. The only thing I would have a problem with Chick-fil-A's, it's always chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you know-
get no variety though.
So I was going to say something about that because, there was a part of me that was like, yeah, but it's only chicken. But it's always good. As opposed to other places where they have a variety of crap.
Yeah.
So I like...
I gotta say, Chick-fil-A might be the fast food place I've eaten at the most in my life.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fantastic. I worked there too, and I really loved it.
I've eaten a lot of fast food, so I can't say that it's probably the one. I would pick Culver's.
yeah, I figured you would.
I'm a Culver's guy through and through.
Weirdo from Illinois.
Yeah, all my Culver's fans out there, you know what's up. So Culver's is really good though. I mean, it's spreading around. The word's getting out. We had Culver's out in Arizona when I lived there too, and people love it out there. Thing I love about Culver's is if you want chicken, it's still really good. May not be Chick-fil-A notoriety.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. That's what the Asians say. Let's go to Chick-fil-A. But it may not be Chick-fil-A notoriety, but it's still really good. If you want a burger, really good. If you want fish, it's good. They have differing menu options there. Their desserts are really good. And you can create a lot of different toppings. It would take a while to get bored with that. And then breakfast, I mean, I'm not a huge breakfast eater as it is, but you can piece something together for breakfast there. And so that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Culver's just because there's a lot of variety.
Yeah, I'm thinking over here, okay, I want something where I can eat like every meal of the day, so it's got to have a breakfast part of the menu.
Right.
And the place that I'm thinking, I might get some pushback from this. It's got a very limited breakfast, but I think it'd be healthy in a way. But Subway wouldn't be a bad place to choose.
No,
I
they
don't
got a
think.
little breakfast deal,
it's,
right?
It's a very light breakfast thing, but the fact that you can just make a billion different sandwiches, whatever you're feeling.
The thing I don't like about Subway is when you say, I would like lettuce on that, they give you like a mound of lettuce.
Yes.
An
It's
entire
insane.
salad on your
Yeah.
sandwich.
Your sandwich is nothing but lettuce, and
Right.
then there's a little bit of meat somewhere in there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nuts.
And you know, they got a couple different things that they can make there, but I think Subway would probably I would just feel good about that place. Everywhere else, I feel like I'd get sick eating there too much.
Eat fresh.
Eat fresh.
There
yeah.
you go.
Subway, eat fresh.
All right, I got one for you. If you had to wear one set of clothes for the rest of your life, now I'm not talking about literally one pair, but you basically pick a uniform for life and you can't wear anything other than that. So you could have 10 of the same pants, 10 of the same shirts, sort of thing. So one set of clothes or one outfit for the rest of your life, what would you choose to wear?
Oh,
Holy
good question.
moly.
So this
So-
has got to be like if you're standing in court for something.
Yeah, it's
You
got to
get
be
to wear
something that's fairly versatile.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want it to be a tuxedo because all your vacations are going to be pretty challenging and hot and sweaty if you do everything in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
But it's got to be something that's still like dressy enough. You can go to church, you can go to court, you could be at a wedding. And what could you wear pretty much every day if you had to and make it work?
Yeah, so here's the thing. You can try to find something in the middle where you're
Right.
dressy, but you're also can go work in the yard or
Right.
something. I think that's the wrong approach to
Really?
this. I
Okay.
think that is. I think you just need to choose one
be
side.
whatever you are?
Yeah, just go with it, okay? And
What side are you choosing?
So, I'm
taking the tuxedo.
taking the honestly, no. I'd be taking a suit. I
Give
would
me the
take a suit.
cummerbund.
I'd be cool with wearing a suit everywhere. It commands respect everywhere you go.
Be intense playing basketball in a suit or something like
Yeah,
that.
you untuck, untuck your shirt, whatever, take the tie off. But
I mean, in
That's
theory,
attached
if
to
you
your
were
body.
playing basketball, I think you could take the coat off.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think you could
so.
do that. It doesn't say that you can't, if you wore like a shirt and tie, you couldn't loosen the tie or take the tie off. You just
Right.
have to wear it every day. So even if you took it off for a period, maybe a small period of time, I think that's probably okay.
I
But,
would
so you're going
probably-
full suit.
I'm just
That's
going
cra-
full suit, man.
Alright.
Just tell people what to do, and you don't have to do it anymore.
I would probably do a little bit of a halfway and go with the khaki pants, button-up shirt like I'm wearing right now, because it's something that I wear on a regular basis anyway, and on the occasion that I would have to do something in my khaki pants and button-up shirt, I could pull it off and I wouldn't have a problem with it, as long as it's a comfortable, a little bit of stretch button-up shirt.
Right.
Yeah. So I have pretty much what I would wear, down to the exact shirt color, pants color. I kind of know exactly what I would go if I had to choose one.
Like old Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
type
if I
thing.
had to choose one here on out, I would choose a nice white button-up shirt. Have to be long sleeve. I would go, but my preference would be to wear it untucked. So it'd have to be a shirt that can be worn either tucked in or untucked.
Yeah.
I would go with a really nice khaki, like a dress slack or a chino, and then I would go with some form of a brown dress shoe.
Yeah.
That would be my go-to. I could probably wear that every day. And, if I wanted to go on vacation, you untuck the shirt a little bit, roll the sleeves up a little. And
Man, swimming would be annoying,
swimming would be
Yeah.
annoying.
regardless of the situation.
Yeah, it would be worse in a
Irregardless.
suit.
Yeah.
Irregardless. But, swimming would be annoying. But, hey, if you want to go to the beach, just take the shoes off, roll the pant legs up a little bit, walk
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
You're still good there. If you wanted to go to a wedding, yeah, you got a nice button-up shirt, slacks, dress shoes. You could make that work for a lot of things. So I think I'd have to go with the white button-up shirt, the khakis, and the dress browns.
So none of us chose sweatpants. The whole
No.
Well,
no.
it's hard to go to a job interview in sweatpants.
Yeah,
True that.
So,
Yeah.
There's, there's a lot of, I feel like there's two types of people that wear sweatpants out on a regular basis, and that's the low-lifers who don't care,
Yeah.
or the really rich and famous
Yeah.
who don't care.
Who don't care. Either way, they don't
It's
care.
like, if I'm worth $1 billion, I can go out to a 5-star restaurant in sweatpants. Why you would do that, though, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody who's rich does that, and everybody who's completely not does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody in between is trying to do something else.
Now, yeah, you got to think too. Also, like, what do you wear to bed? So that might be
Yeah,
a thing.
I mean, hey, it's still better than a suit.
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
All right,
I
Lance,
don't know about that. All right. So here's mine, and this is probably the best question I've ever asked on this show. Okay.
I'm ready for it.
Sorry. If you could breed a hybrid species of any two animals, what would you breed? So you take two animals and you get to stick them together. You could, just maybe choose like the speed of this, but the
Like a
strength of
dog
this.
and a person.
Like a dog person, like a dog of a
The head of a dog.
Does this have to be a real animal?
You know what? We can go outside of reality a little bit. I'm fine with that.
Oh,
So-
man.
Okay, I got to think about this.
All right,
for a second.
so
if you wanna...
I don't know. I may have just made the question a lot harder by saying that.
All right, so
Maybe.
I got a great one. If
Okay,
you want me to
I'm
start
ready.
this off. Okay, so I want the lower half of a dolphin. So this would be a ocean dwelling animal, right? The lower half of a dolphin, but the top half be a gorilla. I want just a massively
great.
just like a
super buff
a
dolphin.
super buff dolphin with arms,
arms.
and like an angry face just swimming around, just looking at you like a mermaid gorilla type
Think
thing.
of how much water would be going through those nostrils.
Oh yeah. So that's what I want. And the only thing is I don't know what it would eat exactly. So
You're going to have some sort of a massive pool in your backyard.
Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, I just want to see it like out in the ocean.
Oh, so you don't want this as like
It's
you're
not a
just breeding
pet.
this to what? Well, I mean, if you're the one that's breeding this, I got to be getting something out of it.
It doesn't say where you're breeding it, or if you're letting it out from captivity or whatever. So-
Yeah, but it's like, haven't you ever watched Jurassic Park when they like create dinosaurs in a lab and then they're not like physically attached to them? Those things become like complete beasts and they eat everything in sight.
Yeah, that's the
like
point.
I kind of feel like Lancer's going to create this thing and be like, I just want to see what it does, and it literally goes out and kills everything in the ocean.
So that's the thing. Lancer would create it, and then Lancer would have to go and destroy
And
it.
I
which
would have to-
mean
Oh,
it
you would
be
have
a
to go fight it.
Yes. Yeah, there we go.
hand-to-hand combat against the gorilla dolphin.
There we go.
I'm not doubting your skills, Lancer. But in the ocean, I feel like you versus an angry half gorilla, half dolphin, you get it handed to you.
Oh man. But you know what? It'd be fun. It'd be fun. Go for it.
Would you get ripped in half or drowned?
Yes.
Both, but not in
Both
that
of
order.
them. But yeah, I think it might have a weak point behind its head or something. I don't know. I'd have to study it for a while, see what the weak
Okay.
point is.
I have thought of nothing. So,
So I keep like trying to think of, man, what would I breed? But I keep thinking that I got to get something out of this. If I'm going to breed it, I want something that could be domesticated so that I could get some sort of benefit from this. But it's also got to be something that flies because I want to ride something that flies. So I honestly, it would be hard to not go with like a Pegasus where you have like this horse that can just fly around.
Yeah.
That would be super awesome. But I don't love horses nearly as much as dogs.
do you want like a centaur Pegasus? Because that would be pretty huge.
Yes, yeah. So I'm going with a half dog, half dragon. So I've got literally a flying, fire-breathing dog that's domesticated.
Nice.
Nice. So can you fly around
So
on
I
this
can
dog?
I can ride and fly around on this dog, and it's just like my pet. But if I say sick him, all of a sudden, boom, here comes the fire, and this dog has scales and can just fly around and
So
be
I
super beast.
I really like the idea of just the craziness of the gorilla dolphin thing.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So I
easy.
think I'm gonna go with like a normal house cat body, and a normal house cat head, but a giraffe neck. And I think that would be pretty fantastic.
oh, well,
How would the
It could catch birds really easily. Just kind of like swing
turn
its
its
neck
head.
around.
how would it support the can you imagine it trying to walk? Like if it ever fell over,
It would have a
it's
beast of a
never getting
chest.
back up.
Like the chest on that cat would be just
Oh, yeah.
massive.
You almost
Just
need,
holding its own neck out.
oh man, you would need like centipede legs on the neck in case it fell over to like help it like walk or something because it could never get back up again.
You have to kind of help it, just kind of lift it up. And
Wow, that would be a big neck to lift. That's amazing. I would pay to go to a zoo and to see both of those things, but I would also pay to have half dog, half dragon.
have dog, have dragon.
So I've got one for you here. If let's say somebody walks up to you and offers you $20,000 for doing nothing, or $200,000 if you can guess the right number they're thinking of between 1 and 5. Now, I will put this caveat out there. They would have to, with a witness, sign it on like a piece of paper. Because you could be like 3, and they're like, nope, sorry, it's 4.
Right.
So they would have to sign a paper saying, this is the number I'm thinking of. 1 through 5, you get $20,000 for doing nothing, or potentially $200,000 if you can guess the number right 1 through 5. What do you do?
1 in 20 chance for getting it 10 times. I'm gonna go with $20,000.
You're just going to take the money and
I'm
walk
gonna take
away
the money. It's guaranteed.
and be like, sorry, crazy person.
Yeah, I'm too safe of a person. $20,000,
Yeah.
guaranteed money.
Okay, so here's the thing: $20,000 would be nice,
Right.
but I don't think $20,000 would be life changing.
I'm with you 100%.
It changed my
It doesn't
life.
change your life that much in the grand scheme of
Yeah.
things. In the immediate, you're like, holy cow, I'm $20,000 richer.
$20,000 would wipe out some school debt and stuff for me, so I'm just like, okay.
I mean, yeah, it would be nice. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't like put me in a different like.
It's more
status
practical.
bracket.
It's more practical.
It put me in
Yeah.
a different status bracket.
But I think
Debt free.
I think the 200,000 would be pretty.
The story of that.
The 1 in
be
5
awesome, too.
for 200,000.
20% chance.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would really, really hate myself if I got it wrong, but I'd go with
Right.
I would guess.
I'm
I would
guessing.
take the
I
guess.
think I'm going to guess too, because if they write it down, I mean, if you don't get it, it's kind of nothing ventured, nothing gained. Granted, there was 20,000 there you could have had,
Yeah.
but it's not like that. That's not a big enough sum of money where, and I'm not trying to be like a snob, where it's like, I definitely am taking that because the other one, it seems like that's a way better situation is to have 10 times this amount. So I would probably take the gamble on it, and my life isn't bad as it is now. So if I didn't get it, I'd be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
No, if you're really hard on money,
If you're really hard up, take the
Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah,
but
take it.
if you're not in a position where it's an absolute necessity, I feel like for me, I would just be like, I'm willing to roll the dice on this. I'm not losing anything out of it. So, but if I could hit that 200,000, oh man.
Here's the thing that
What
I'm
a story.
thinking, and I'm not going to reveal too much of my finances, but $20,000 would like pretty much put me in a debt-free position. So I'm just like, $20,000 sounds awesome.
Yeah. Now, if you can achieve that, then yeah. I
Yeah.
understand the practicality of that.
Yeah.
The fun factor of having a story to tell.
Yeah.
Hey, this person came up to me and offered me a 20% chance to win
Yeah.
$200,000, and I got it.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it was last night. There was a dude at the Lakers game. I don't know if you guys saw this, and they do those like, you can win $100,000 if you hit a half court shot sort of a contest.
Uh-huh.
And so they pull this guy out there, and he's kind of like dribbling around this like, middle-aged Asian guy, and he's kind of like, hamming it up with the crowd and everything. And they give him the ball, and it's like, all right, half court shot. And he got up there and kind of dribbles and just saunters up and chucks it from half court and just nailed it. Just switched it. And then he's like running around the court like LeBron James, like pumping his fists and everything like that. And I was like, dude, that dude just won $100,000.
yeah, that's life.
That is happening.
Yeah.
So that's why I would just take the risk and just, if I don't get it, I don't get it. But if I do, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the scenario changes if they said, we'll give you $20,000 if you don't take the shot, or $100,000 if you make the shot.
Oh, in that case, I'm taking the
Correct.
20,000.
Yeah.
yeah, because the odds of making that shot are so
It's
low.
less
Yeah.
than 20%.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't know what the normal NBA, best shooters percentage. Let's say Steph Curry's the best shooter. 20% might be a little high for his half court shot percentage.
Yeah.
So
And I'm not Steph Curry.
mine is going to be lower than that. But the glory play of hitting the shot,
Oh, yeah.
oh, it's so tempting.
Should I hit one more question here?
Yeah,
Go
do
for
it.
it. Go for it.
If you had to live out a book or a novel, whatever, any book. Well, let me rephrase that. If you had to live out a fiction book. So let's not get historical and stuff like that because I don't want to delve into that. What book would you choose? You are the protagonist.
Oh, so like you're the hero of this whole
Correct.
thing.
So you don't get to choose one of the side characters. You don't get to be, Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. You're Frodo, which comes with its negative effects. So
My precious.
you have to live out a single book, and it's a single book too. So you don't get to live out, all of the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings or something like that. For an example,
Wow, that's a hard question.
it's a tricky one. It's a very tricky one.
That's a hard question to do on air because now we're like, okay, let me sit here and think through all the
Yeah.
books I've read. All right.
Well, see, I don't read a lot of fiction, so I'm trying to think of the few that I have read. I usually read more informational.
When it's
So-
kind of interesting too because then you start digging into you're living out the book. It's not like you're forced to die in it or anything like that. You're just forced to live out whatever story, and it's more for enjoyment than it is for anything else. It's not like we're removing this life from you too. It's
Right.
just that you're living out the book. And so for me, and I guess it's because I've read this. Well, I haven't finished it, but I've been reading it more recently, and I think it's a really fascinating book, and I really like the protagonist. It's really interesting. It's Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh,
Okay.
And because he's like a super accomplished individual and he has like a super interesting background and stuff like that. So when you talk about living out the protagonist of the Count of Monte Cristo, it's like you basically get to become one of the greatest minds and wealthiest people throughout a book and then enact your greatest revenge on people who have wronged you. Just
Yeah.
kind of really fascinating story.
that man, that's a good choice. I don't know. My brain is kind of like jogging between like 2 or 3 options, and I'm trying to think of like which one I
Okay,
actually think.
Pick one because it's not real.
No, I know.
It's not going to actually
You only have
happen.
one life.
All right,
Make it good.
so while you're thinking that, okay, I don't even remember the title of this book, but it's the one about the guy who's the he's like a spy or something. Tom Cruise played him in a movie. What was it? Tell me.
Jack Reacher?
Jack Reacher is the one. Any of the Jack Reacher books would be pretty awesome. Now, I've never read one of them,
I haven't either.
but I've seen the movie and I've heard people talk about it.
Nice.
And being a Jack Reacher type character would be pretty awesome. Traveling around just beating guys up and doing good in the world. That would be pretty cool. And Jack Reacher, like, never gets beaten. He's kind of like a James Bond type guy.
Right.
So he just never gets beaten at all or anything. I mean, he's just pretty solid, pretty awesome guy.
Yeah.
Has there been any fictional books written about Steve Irwin?
I don't know.
Man, 'cause
probably
that's who I wanna be.
someone's
You would
written
be
one.
Curious George or something?
The question is whether it's been self-published or not.
So I have 2. I have one that's probably more. So I'm kind of like, this is funny because what we're picking is like our personalities, and so
Yeah.
Matt's like, I want to be this well thought out, astute man of influence. Lancer's like, I want to be beating everybody up and be super awesome, and I'm like, I want to go like have all these adventures. So here's my 2 that I'm kind of like torn between, either like Robinson Crusoe. So kind of exploring the world, adventurous.
Yeah.
This other one's gonna be really weird, or the Jungle Book.
Okay.
Hey, that's actually a really good choice.
That
yeah.
that would be a really cool one to be Mowgli. I mean, it kind of stinks that you lose your parents, but like the way that the whole the Jungle Book is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating story. He ends up eventually besting the tiger, gets to humanity and civilization and everything, but has this this way to communicate and live within the jungle ecosystem that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I would either pick like something Robinson Crusoe where I'm exploring and adventuring, the world, or I'd go Jungle Book.
And that makes me think Treasure Island would be a
Treasure
good one,
Island
too.
was like right there. I was like,
Yeah.
man, that would be like to live that out as an adventure.
Yeah.
Would be amazing.
Muppet Treasure Island even.
Oh yeah, definitely Muppet Treasure Island.
Good pick. That's a really good one.
Oh, let's wrap this up.
All right, so thank you for listening to the Shoot from the Hip podcast. I hope you enjoyed it on this week's episode. If you're listening, you're probably listening on SoundCloud, maybe iTunes, maybe iHeartRadio. I don't know what's going on with that because I haven't gotten an email.
Get
that
on the
says
ball,
we're
iHeart.
on it. I don't know what the deal is, but maybe I'll try to resubmit again. But we are on iTunes if you haven't noticed, and since we're on iTunes, be sure to go ahead and rate and review. And we ask you to do that it's definitely selfish, but we really need your help. And if
Come on, hipsters, rate and review the podcast.
If we don't get your help,
5 stars.
we don't get ranked higher. So if you rate and review, it would help us out a ton. And, pass it on to your friends.
It's good for our self-esteem.
But be sure to subscribe. And on SoundCloud, you can find us at soundcloud.com/Shoot From The Hip podcast. Be sure to subscribe over there if you don't use iTunes. Also, you can find us on Twitter at HipShot Podcast. It's not Shoot From The Hip, so be sure to search for that at tag. So at HipShot Podcast. Be sure to tweet at us over there, and we'll try to put up we'll put up something on Twitter. You'll see it, and it'll probably be a poll of some
We'll
sort.
put up or shut up.
We'll get you involved. Let me put it that way. And then also you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Shoot From The Hip podcast. So be sure to go over there and like our page and follow us there. Also, you can find us on Instagram. We haven't posted anything, I don't think.
We promise to.
Yes, eventually. It's HipShot Podcast, so be sure to follow us on Instagram, and we will try to give you some sort of picture that says that we're alive over there. We're alive!
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for listening once again, and we look forward to seeing you once again on the Shoot From The Hip podcast.
Adios, hipsters.